The countdown begins. Talira stood alone in the glowing halls of the Galactic Registry, her hands shaking, her heart racing. Her husband had died just 2 days ago during a pirate raid. They brought back only his broken badge and his burnt robe. No funeral, no time to mourn. In her world, widowhood was not a time for grief. It was a countdown to slavery. Galactic law was clear. If a widow did not find a new mate within 3 local days, she would be auctioned off, stripped of rights and sold to the highest bidder. Talira had just 1 day left. Her skin, soft and violet, in color, glowed faintly under the station lights. Her eyes were gold, bright but tired. She had once been proud, the wife of a noble warrior, but now she walked like a ghost, hiding her face under a long hood, avoiding the stares of alien men. Most of them didn't see her as a person anymore, only as a prize, a body, a chance to gain status in the Empire. She had refused 5 offers already, powerful males who promised her protection but spoke with cold voices. They didn't want her for love. They wanted her for ownership. She couldn't do it. She couldn't live like that, so she ran. She hid in the lower levels of the trade station, where smugglers walked, mercenaries drank, and humans passed by unnoticed. That's where she saw him. He was sitting alone at a food stall. A human male. His uniform was dusty. His armor had burn marks. He looked tired but calm. His nameplate read, Ethan Vale. Talira stopped and stared. He was different. He wasn't laughing loudly like the others. He wasn't chasing females or throwing credits in the air. He was simply eating noodles quietly with tired eyes that looked like they had seen war. Something inside her moved. She didn't plan what she did next. Her body moved before her mind could stop it. She stepped forward. "Excuse me," she said in a soft voice. Ethan looked up. Her heart almost stopped. He didn't glare. He didn't smile. He just listened. "Yes?" he asked. She looked around. The place was noisy. No one cared. No one noticed her desperation. Except him. I need your help," she said. "I have 1 day left. Galactic law says I must marry or I'll be taken." Ethan blinked. "Taken? Sold," she whispered. "Like a pet." He frowned. "That's insane." Talira nodded. "But it's the law. And now, I have no one." There was silence between them. Then she said it. "Marry me. Please. I'll be yours. I'll warm your bed if you want. Just don't let them take me." Ethan dropped his chopsticks. People at a nearby table glanced at them, but he didn't care. His voice was low. "Are you serious?" "I swear it," she said, stepping closer. "I'm not asking for love. I'm asking for freedom. You're the only one who hasn't looked at me like I'm a thing." Ethan leaned back. He had seen many things in this galaxy. Wars, traitors, politics, but never something like this. An alien woman begging for a fake marriage just to survive. He looked at her again. She was beautiful. But it wasn't just her looks. It was her fear. Her courage. The way she stood tall even while trembling. "How long do we have?" he asked. Talira checked her wristband. 22 hours. He sighed, then stood up. "All right," he said. "Let's get married." Her lips parted, in shock. "You mean it?" He nodded. "I won't let anyone chain you." For the first time in days, she smiled, but danger was already moving. In the shadows of the registry tower, a cloaked alien watched them. He pressed a button on his comm. "The human has accepted the widow's bond," he whispered. "Send the hunters. Do not let them reach the bonding chamber." Her desperate proposal, Talira, had never held a human's hand before. Now she was running beside one, gripping Ethan's. Arm as alarms echoed behind them. They ran through the crowded corridors of the trade station, dodging aliens, stalls, and drones. Ethan didn't understand why they were being chased, but Talira knew. Once a widow claimed a human mate, it broke the silent rules of status. Alien males, especially the rich ones, hated that. and many of them had already marked her as their future property. Now she had made them look like fools, and for that, someone had placed a bounty on her, and on Ethan. "Where are we going?" Ethan asked as they reached a lift. "To the bonding chamber," she gasped. "We must finish the ritual. Once the system records us as married, the law will protect us. And if we don't, they'll take me. And you. Maybe worse." Ethan pressed the button, but the lift didn't move. Red light flashed. "Disabled." He cursed under his breath. Then he turned to her. "Plan B?" She bit her lip. "Maintenance shafts, this way." They crawled through dark vents. Talira's breath was heavy. Ethan led the way using his suit's light. Behind them, metal echoed. Someone was following. "I didn't think I'd be fighting for a marriage today," Ethan muttered. "I didn't think I'd be begging for one," Talira whispered. They both paused. "Why did you choose me?" he asked, not looking back. "Because you didn't smile when I begged. You didn't laugh or judge me. You just listened." He was silent. They dropped into a quiet hallway. Only 3 doors ahead. One led to the bonding chamber. But as they stepped forward, a voice stopped them. "Going somewhere, widow." It was a tall alien male, dark skin like metal, eyes glowing blue. Behind him were 2 more enforcers. Talira froze. "Lord Quorn," she whispered. Ethan raised his arm. "Let us pass." Quorn laughed. "You must be the human, brave, or stupid. She has the right," Ethan said. "She chose me." Quorn stepped forward. "She was promised to me after her husband's death. You think you can walk in and claim her?" Ethan's eyes narrowed. "She's not a thing to be claimed." "Then why did she offer to warm your bed?" Quorn smirked. "Sounds like a deal, not love." Talira stepped in front of Ethan. Her voice was strong now. "I begged because I wanted to live with dignity. Not as a prize. Not as your puppet. This man didn't offer gold or power. He gave me a choice." Quorn's face turned cold. "You'll regret this." He lifted a shock pistol. Before he could shoot, Ethan fired first. A stun round hit Quorn in the chest, knocking him back. The enforcers hesitated. That was all they needed. Talira and Ethan ran to the bonding chamber. The doors opened with a hiss. Inside was a glowing platform and a small floating AI. "Do you confirm your bond willingly?" the AI asked. "I do," Talira said, eyes locked on Ethan. Ethan took a breath. "I do." Light scanned them. Their names were now linked in the galactic system. Talira collapsed in relief. "It's done," she said, breathing fast. Ethan smiled. "We made it." But outside, Lord Quorn slowly stood. His voice echoed through his communicator. They completed the bond. Now, we challenged the love. Marriage by midnight. The bond was official. The system had accepted Ethan and Talira as mates, but they were not safe yet. Inside the quiet bonding chamber, Talira stood still, her violet skin glowing softly under the scanner lights. Her heart beat, fast, not from fear, this time from something else. Ethan, the human who just risked his life to marry her. She looked at him differently now. At first he was only hope, an escape. But now, he was more. "I didn't think you'd actually say yes," she whispered. Ethan wiped the sweat from his brow. "I didn't think I'd survive saying it." They both smiled. A strange, quiet moment passed between them. 2 strangers, 2 lives, now connected by law, and maybe something deeper. But their moment was interrupted by a sharp tone from the bonding chamber's AI. "Warning. Bond has been registered under emergency code. Council review is required within 12 hours. Emotional authenticity must be confirmed." Talira's eyes widened. "No." "What does that mean?" Ethan asked. "It means someone challenged our bond," she said slowly. "They think this was a fake marriage." "Was it?" She looked up at him. "No, not for me. But the system, it wants proof." Outside, the station had changed. A glowing announcement echoed across the levels. Witness review scheduled. Human-alien bond under trial. Aliens gathered to watch the scandal. Some were curious, some were angry, and many just wanted to see. The human Luz, Ethan, and Talira were escorted to the midnight court, a cold, glass-walled chamber floating in zero gravity. Deep in the center of the station, there sat the council, 3 old alien judges with emotionless eyes. Talira stood beside Ethan, trembling slightly. This wasn't a ceremony anymore. This was a trial. One judge spoke. "We have reason to believe this bond was made under fear, not affection. If this union is false, it will be broken. The female will be returned to her previous status." Ethan stepped forward. "We're telling the truth." Another judge nodded. "Then prove it." They were taken to the Chamber of Echoes, where no lies could hide. The room was filled with floating memory orbs. One by one, the system pulled their emotions, their thoughts, their heartbeats, trying to detect any false intent. Talira winced as her memories played in the air. Her husband's, death, her fear, her running, and finally Ethan's face, his voice, his kindness. Then Ethan's memories appeared. The war zones, the loneliness, the quiet pain he hid behind every smile, and then her. The moment she said, "Marry me." The council watched everything. "You barely know each other," the lead judge said. "That's true," Ethan replied. "But when someone reaches out their hand in desperation, you don't ask how long you've known them. You ask if they're worth saving." "And is she?" Ethan looked at Talira. "Yes, I'd marry her again, even if the law didn't ask me to." Talira's voice cracked. "And I'd choose him again, even if I had 1,000 days left." Silence. Then the memory orb glowed gold. A soft tone rang. Bond accepted. Emotional alignment. Genuine. Trial dismissed. Talira fell into Ethan's arms, tears falling silently. He held her close, tighter than before. "You meant that?" she asked. "I did," he said. "And I still do." Outside, the aliens watched in silence. Some scoffed, some walked away, but a few stayed and whispered, "Maybe humans aren't so cold after all." But in the shadows of the station, Lord Quorn spoke with a dark-robed figure. "She passed the trial," Quorn growled. The figure nodded. "Then we make her break it herself. No law protects a bond if love is betrayed." The kiss that saved her, Talira, had never kissed anyone but her husband. And now, standing with Ethan on the balcony of the guest chambers, she felt a strange heat in her chest. They were bonded by law. They had passed the test, but something still felt unfinished. She could hear the voices outside the chamber walls, whispers from passing aliens, reporters, and spies. Some still believed the bond was fake. Others just hated the idea of a human and alien widow being together. Ethan stood beside her, silent, looking up at the stars. "Do you regret it?" she asked softly. He turned his head. "Marrying you?" She nodded. He shook his head. "No. I regret not meeting you sooner." Her eyes widened, surprised. "I thought humans don't say such things easily," she said, trying to smile. "We don't," Ethan replied. "That's why it means more when we do." Suddenly, the door buzzed. A message arrived. "All bonded pairs must attend the Unity Gala. Presence required. First kiss must be given in public." Talira's breath caught. "It's a final step," she said. "To seal the bond before witnesses. If we don't go, the bond could still be canceled," Ethan finished. She looked down. "It's not just about a kiss, Ethan. It's about showing it's real, isn't it?" She met his eyes, and for the first time she didn't see a stranger. She saw a man who had risked his freedom, his safety, and now, maybe his heart. The Unity Gala was a grand event. Aliens of every kind filled the floating ballroom. Music played softly, drinks sparkled in silver cups, and high-ranking council members watched from above. Talira wore a flowing silk robe of her homeworld, her golden eyes lined with silver dust. She looked radiant, but nervous. Ethan, in a simple, formal uniform, stood beside her. He could feel her trembling just slightly. Everyone waited. A voice rang out. Presenting, bonded pair, Talira of Velshar and human Ethan Vale. Eyes turned, whispers rose. They expect a kiss, she said under her breath. A real one. Is that a problem? He asked gently. She looked up at him. Her lips parted, but before she could speak, a sudden shout came from the crowd. Stop, this farce. It was Lord Quorn stepping into the light. He threw a small device onto the ground. A hologram flashed, showing Talira's desperate proposal from earlier. Marry me. I'll warm your bed. Gasps filled the hall. She said, those words before he agreed. Quorn growled. This wasn't love, it was desperation. The law is being fooled. Talira stepped back, ashamed. Her hands trembled. Ethan looked around. He could see the council judges watching silently. Quorn's voice grew louder. A real bond must begin with affection, not bargains. Talira lowered her head. Maybe this was the end. But Ethan wasn't done. He stepped forward. You want proof? Fine. He turned to Talira and held her face in both hands. Her eyes widened, but didn't move away. Then, in front of everyone, he kissed. Her not a small fake kiss, a real one. One filled with emotion, with gratitude, with silent promises. Talira's eyes closed. She leaned in, and when the kiss ended, the room was silent. Even Quorn said nothing. Then the AI voice spoke again. Bond sealed, emotional signature, confirmed, connection, authentic. Cheers broke out. Music returned. Talira stared at Ethan, breathless. That was real, he said, smiling. Because you're not just surviving anymore, Talira. You're living. But across the gala floor, in the shadows, a dark figure whispered into a calm. The kiss worked. But make her doubt him. If she walks away first, the bond breaks on its own. The enemy. Within, Talira couldn't sleep that night. She sat on the edge of her room's bed, staring out the window at the dark stars. Her fingers touched her lips. The memory of Ethan's kiss still burned there, gentle but powerful. For the first time in days, she had felt safe. But safety was a fragile thing, and someone wanted to take it away. In the shadows of the docking bay, Captain Merrick, a fellow human, watched a private holo recording. He was one of Ethan's old squad mates, strong, cold, and full of distrust toward alien species. He paused the screen on Talira's face. She's manipulating him, he whispered to himself. She's using him, and Ethan's too soft to see it. Behind him stood a cloaked alien informant. The widow's bond is legal, the alien said. Marek's jaw tightened. Legal doesn't mean smart. I know Ethan, he's a soldier. He thinks with honor. But she thinks with survival. He looked at the alien. Give me her background, every detail. I'll find something. One lie, one mistake, and I'll make her leave him herself. Back in the residence wing, Talira walked quietly into the shared living space. Ethan was asleep on the couch, one arm over his chest, breathing slow and steady. She didn't want to wake him. Instead, she looked at a small photo frame resting beside him, an old image of Ethan with 3 other soldiers, smiling in a dusty camp. One of them was Captain Merrick. Her golden eyes narrowed. The next morning, Ethan awoke to find a message blinking on his datapad. It was from Merrick. Let's talk. Alone. You owe me that, brother. Ethan hesitated, then glanced toward Talira's room. She was still asleep, or pretending to be. They met near the abandoned hangar on Deck 7, quiet, isolated. Merrick, Ethan said. I didn't expect you to be here. I heard you married an alien, Merrick said coldly. Didn't believe it. Thought maybe you were drugged. Ethan frowned. It's not like that. She offered herself to you in exchange for safety, Marek said. How can you trust her? Ethan stepped forward. Because she had no reason to trust me either, and still did. She could have begged any alien lord, but she asked me. Marek scoffed. You always were too soft. Then he handed Ethan a data chip. What's this? Her file. The one the council didn't show you. She's not just any widow, Ethan. She was once bonded to a war strategist, one of the Empire's tacticians. She knew everything about his work, maybe. She still does. Ethan stared at the chip. You think she's spying on me? Marek leaned closer. I think she's trained to survive. That means using anyone, even you. That night, Ethan didn't say much. He was distant, quieter than usual. Talira felt it. What happened? She asked. He shook his head. Nothing. Just tired. But his eyes didn't look at her the same way. Later, while he slept, Talira opened his bag to find her old bonding papers. And the chip. She hesitated, then plugged it into the screen. The file loaded. Yes, she had been married to a war strategist. Yes, she had attended tactical briefings, but she was never a spy. She was just a wife, trapped in a man's world of war, silenced by tradition. Tears welled in her eyes. He didn't ask her. He just believed the file. He doubted her. In the morning, she was gone. Ethan woke to find a note. I thought we were partners, but maybe you never saw me that way. If you don't trust me, what are we really fighting for? Across the city ring, Captain Marek watched from the shadows. He smiled. One seed of doubt was all it took. Proof of love. Ethan searched the station for hours. He checked every registry, every corridor, every shuttle dock. Talira was gone. No trace. Just her message echoing in his mind. If you don't trust me, what are we really fighting for? He felt like a fool. He had promised her safety, promised her honesty. And the moment someone whispered doubt, he listened. She had trusted him with her life, but he hadn't trusted her past. Talira sat alone inside an abandoned botanical dome on the far edge of the station. The lights were dim, and vines grew through broken glass. This place used to be beautiful. Now it was forgotten, just like she felt. She had nothing but the robes on her back and the old bonding ring on her finger. She had thought she found something real. But humans were like the rest, weren't they? They smiled, they promised. But the moment you reminded them you weren't like them, their eyes changed. She wiped a tear from her cheek. Ethan stood outside the dome, finally tracking her through an old maintenance log. He didn't walk in right away. He just stood there staring through the cracked glass, watching her in silence. His heart ached. His mind screamed at him. He stepped inside. Talira didn't turn when she heard his footsteps. What do you want, Ethan? She said, voice low. I want to fix what I broke, he replied. She still didn't face him. You didn't ask me anything. You just took a stranger's word and read a file like I was some object to be analyzed. He nodded. I know. And I was wrong. She turned now. Her golden eyes weren't angry. They were hurt. You said I wasn't a thing. But you treated me like one the moment it got hard. He walked closer. Because I got scared. Of me? No. Of losing what we were starting to build. He took a breath. Then reached into his pocket and pulled out the data chip Marek had given him. I came to give this back. I don't want secrets between us anymore. If there's something you want me to know, tell me yourself. She looked at the chip, then at him. Slowly she took it and crushed it beneath her boot. Then let me show you the truth. They returned to the truth chamber, the same place where the bond had first been tested. This time it wasn't the council calling them. It was them choosing to return. The AI voice inside asked, State your purpose. Talira stepped forward. I want to open my heart, by my own choice. Ethan nodded. Me too. The chamber glowed. Their heartbeats synced, Their memories surfaced. But this time, something changed. Not just past pain. Now it showed small moments. The way Talira reached for his hand in the crowd, the way Ethan smiled when she whispered goodnight, the warmth in their kiss at the gala. These weren't memories of survival. They were moments of real care, real love. In the making, a glowing orb formed between them, a rare sign in the chamber. Voluntary emotional fusion detected, connection deepened, love confirmed. Talira stared at the orb, eyes wide. This only happens when two souls trust each other, fully. Ethan stepped closer. "I don't want to be your protector anymore," he whispered. Her breath caught. "I want to be your partner, your friend, your love." She touched his hand. "And I want the same. Not because the law says so, but because you do." Outside the chamber, Captain Merrick received the final report. He crushed the communicator in his fist. "Then we try the last option," he growled. Back inside, Ethan and Talira walked out side by side, closer than before, but neither of them saw the hidden message blinking in the Council's archives. "Bond targeted for cancellation. Final strike authorized." Forever starts today. The day began with silence. Not the peaceful kind. The sharp, cold silence before something bad happens. Ethan and Talira had woken together for the first time. Not as strangers, not as survivors, but as something stronger. They had gone through fear, lies, and betrayal. Now they stood hand in hand, facing the future, or so they thought. Elsewhere, Captain Merrick met with Council Agent Zern, a tall alien in gray armor. "You said their love is real," Merrick snapped. "I say love is just chemical noise." Zern opened a case. Inside was a thin collar made of shimmering metal. "Once she wears this," he hissed, "she won't remember him. The bond will break. We just need to trick her into accepting it." Marek narrowed his eyes. "And what if Ethan fights back?" Zern smiled. "Then we make him choose, her memories or her life." Later that afternoon, Talira received an invitation marked urgent. It was signed by a medical unit, requesting her for a routine health scan now required for all bonded aliens. She didn't question it. She just wanted to follow the rules, to protect what she and Ethan had built. She left Ethan a message. "Be back soon. Just a checkup, don't worry." But when she arrived at the med station, no doctor waited. Only Merrick and Zern. Ethan found the message too late. He read it once, then again, and felt his chest tighten. Something was off. He checked the scan registry. No appointment existed. His heart pounded as he rushed across the station. In the lab, Talira sat nervously on a cold chair. A silver machine hovered beside her. "It's just a neural scan?" she asked. Zern smiled. "Very quick, just relax. This will help strengthen your bond with the human." She smiled gently. "Ethan, his name is Ethan." Zern nodded. Then the machine hissed and the collar snapped around her neck. Talira gasped. "What is—" Pain shot through her head. Her memories began to burn. Her wedding, her kiss, Ethan's face. Merrick watched silently, but something unexpected happened. Her eyes stayed open and her heart fought back. Ethan crashed into the room, weapon drawn. "Talira!" Zern turned, alarmed. Merrick stepped forward. "It's too late. She's forgetting everything." But Ethan dropped his gun. He didn't fight with violence. He stepped to her and knelt. "Talira," he said gently. "Do you remember our first talk?" She shook, her eyes flickering. "Do you remember what you said to me? You said, 'Marry me, I'll warm your bed.'" And I didn't laugh. I said yes. A tear rolled down her cheek. He held her face in both hands. "Not because I wanted anything, but because I saw you. I saw your soul." Her heart monitor beeped faster. "Your name is Talira of Velshar," he said, voice breaking. "And you chose me when no one else would. Now I choose you. Even if you forget me, I'll remind you every day." Her hands reached up, touched his face. And then, she whispered, you didn't let them chain me. The collar cracked, overloaded by her emotional surge. It fell to the ground. Zurn shouted in shock. But Merrick stepped back. For the first time, he understood. This wasn't chemical. This was real. Later, the council summoned them. But this time, not for judgment. For recognition. Ethan and Talera were granted full bond status, no longer conditional. She would never be forced to marry again. He would never be questioned for loving outside his species. Together they would begin a new life on the human Velshari peace colony, as equals, as partners, as something far more rare in the galaxy, lovers who chose each other against every law and every lie. On their first day at the new colony, Ethan asked her, "Do you still want to warm my bed?" She smiled, golden eyes shining. "No," she whispered. "Now I want to warm your life." The end.